Hey everybody, MU37 here. Got a flight for you today. We're going to go from Oslo to Helsinki in the PMDG 747. I've got payware for both airports. Both of them look really good. So as you can see right here, we're taking off from Oslo on 19 left, and it's not a real long flight. It's only about, as you can see, about 455 miles. I traveled as much on the airways as I could. You can see the SID right here. Come over to right here. It's kind of difficult. I have no idea, but if you look, like, you can see this airway right here. You can see the orange line dotted with blue, but as you come over here, it disappears. I have no idea. It was really confusing why that was happening. But as you can see, we stay on the airways basically the whole way. And we come over to Helsinki, Finland, and land on 22 left. So let's go ahead and move on over to the cockpit. Alright everybody, we're here in the cockpit. Go ahead and get started. I'm gonna turn the battery on. Standby power goes to auto. Bus ties switches right here. These are all on auto. Generator control switches, I'll go to on. Hydraulic demand pump switches 1 through 3 are off. 4th is on aux. Engine hydraulic pump selectors are all on. External power 1 and 2, we don't have those available, as you can see. Panel lights we don't need. Utility power left and right are both on. Lights, we've got nav, got logo, and wing. Alright, the emergency lights are armed. You see right there. IRS switches all go to off. Then nav and align. Alright, next page. I'm going to go down to the FMC. Right here. Alright, ENGM is at the airport that we're at. I'm going to put that in there, and then we'll copy the GPS position into the IRS. Alright, we're going to come up here and put these in nav. That last one always causes me a problem. Alright, all our fuel pumps are off. The anti-ice is off. Wing anti-ice is off. Window heat is on. Yaw dampers are on. APU start. APU gen switches 1 and 2 will become available in just a second. Flight deck temperature and passenger temperature are both on auto. Trim air on. Upper and lower recirculation fans are on. Gasper is on. Pack switches 1 through 3 go to norm. Isolation switches left and right are open. And APU bleed, just as soon as this APU comes on, we'll do that. I'll wait here until it actually does come on. Hopefully it's not too long. Alright. See, these are available. APU bleed is on. Alright, down here in the FMC. I always forget the ICAO of these. ENGM EFHK. The company route. Activate it. Alright, performance initialization. We're gonna be at 34,000 feet. Alright, before we do our fuel weight and everything, we're gonna move over to the load manager. Alright, we're here at the load manager, and we'll go 2/3 passengers. And we'll put our fuel weight, go to 119,000. Actually, I'll raise it up a little bit. It's not, we don't want too much fuel. We don't have a long flight. Yeah. Just put it right there. Alright, so back to the FMC. We've got our, whoops, got our weight in here. Reserves 10 and cost index 75. Thrust limit, I'll put -5%. Takeoff, we're gonna have flaps of 20. Before I go any further, I'm gonna check something. Speed restriction of 250 at 10,000, which I don't know why it allows this transition 260 at 10,000, unless it's different in Norway. Alright, Oslo, we're taking off at 19 left. Yeah, 19 left. We don't have to hit in the star. I think we might actually already have it. Mace 4C, but it should already be in there. And Helsinki, we're landing at 22 left. Let's check our legs. As you can see, the SID is in there. Move this up. Come down the star and land on 22 left. And our approach, put 30 degrees, 160 knots. That might change on the way there, so we'll look for that. Oops. And now we can do our V1, rotate V2, and our trim will be 6. And our V2 speed is 160. I need to remember that as well. Alright, altimeter, we'll just hit B to get that set. Alright, we'll come up here and turn on our flight director. Enter our V2 speed, which was 160. Alright, LNAV is armed, VNAV is armed. It says, you know, you're supposed to enter your first altitude, but I'm actually going to just take this up to 34,000 trying to work through the speeds and the altitudes on the Sitting Stars. I just kind of difficult to do to try and keep up with it. So I'm just going to put it up to 34,000 and let it go. It'll of course control itself. Alright, 34,000. The autopilot disengage bar is up. The fuel control switches are all off. Trim settings. Move over here. Go ahead and set this to 6. It's about 6 right there. Auto brake. Rejected takeoff. TCAS switch. To get to the TCAS, you can't do it in the virtual cockpit. So you got to hit F10. Go to communications. Test the TCAS.
TCAS system test OK.
Alright, move that over to TARA. Bias is above. No smoking goes on. Seatbelts auto. Flight deck door is now locked. Alright, get out of there. Alright, all the fuel pumps are now on. I don't know why they turned themselves on. Crossfeed is alright. Gangway we don't worry about. Doors I'm not going to worry about. We're going to get ready for pushbacks. We're going to turn our beacon on. Hydraulic demand 1 through 3 are on they were on auto, I believe. And the 4th one is on aux. I thought those were all on auto before. I'm not sure what happened. Alright, pack 1 is on. 2 and 3 now are off. And we'll get ready for a pushback. I'm going to turn auto start off. Come down here, we'll go back to that 2D panel. As you can see, back to there, maybe 30 feet or so. So let's move this to 30 feet. And we want our nose to go to the right. I believe the furthest we can go with that is 90 degrees. We'll start our pushback.
And ground, cockpit.
Go ahead, Captain.
We're all set to go up here. We've been cleared to push and start at your discretion.
Roger that, ready for push. Power and air are clear, doors closed. We are ready for pushback. Release parking brake, please.
Alright, continuous ignition.
Okay, parking brake is off, cleared to push.
Brakes off, here we go.
Alright, pull 1 and 4. Bring this up. And I believe it's yeah, 14% when it gets to the magenta line. Go ahead and give fuel. Or should I say, turn the switches to run. Alright, as those are settling, come up here. We'll go 2 and 3. Alright, 14%. 14%. Alright, we'll turn our APU off. APU bleed is off. Packs all go to norm. Hydraulic demand pump 4 now goes to auto. We don't need the anti-ice. Taxi light goes on. Flaps will go to 20. And we backed up way too far.
Push is complete. Set parking brake, please.
Alright, brakes are set and pressure's normal.
Okay, sir. Tow bar is off. Pin is out. Watch for the pin on the right.
Alright guys, thanks. You're cleared to disconnect. We will be watching for the pin and the release from guidance on the right side of the airplane, and we'll see you guys next time through.
Roger that. Have a good flight.
Alright, we're going to make our way to the runway. Not going to use ATC here, because I hate ATC. And I'll check back when we're at the runway. Alright, we're about to enter the runway now. So landing lights are on, strobe is on. And we'll make our way onto the runway. Alright, stop here for just a second. Let's set our heading to the runway heading. Eventually. Just put it at 190. Turn on auto throttles. And we're ready to take off. Set it to 70%. And one. Right here, this little button is a toga. Click that. Always does that. So we've got a positive rate, so gear is up. And you can see these right here. This is your flap schedule, so as you can see it's at 20, and when it gets to 10, we'll start retracting the flaps to 10, and so on and so on. Turn on the autopilot. We'll take a look outside. That's a really, really beautiful airport. I'll put a link to it in the description, of course. Alright, so we're at 10. Got a little ahead of myself there. Alright, flaps to 5. And now flaps to 1. And now we fully retract the flaps. So we're well on our way. And we'll go ahead and move on to the descent. Alright everybody. On our descent, we're at about 9,000 feet. We turn our landing lights on. We're also going to come down here and turn on our auto brakes. Put it on 2. And we're gonna arm the spoilers. I just seem to want to arm. Hold on. Also come up here. Wasn't sure if I was supposed to turn the taxi light on or off. We are. So we'll turn that on. We aren't too far away. About 25 miles or so out. Been a really uneventful trip. Not too long. It was actually pretty nice. I want to check the speeds. It doesn't seem to want to let me change them. I used to be able to change them. It doesn't want me to be able to do that. Because I know we are definitely going to be going too fast. So that it changed a little bit. I'm gonna get some flaps out. I may just turn the auto throttles off here in a second. That way I can slow it down. Let me go ahead and hit the localizer. Deploy some more flaps. We're getting really close. Go ahead for the approach. Alright, I was getting a little worried because with that speed that we were supposed to be coming in at 240, end up having lots of problems getting it slowed down.
2,500.
The flaps out to 20. Go ahead and drop the gear. So our approach speed was 156, so I'll try to get it about 161. Speed plus 5. Flaps to 25, and now flaps to 30, so they're fully extended. Alright, so you see we just got rolled out in flare for our auto land. Over the outer marker now.
$1,000.
This is a really good looking airport too.
$500. $400.
Try to slow it down just a little bit.
Approaching minimums. Minimums. 100. 50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Cut the throttle. Hit the reversers. Alright, we can kill those reversers. Go ahead and exit the runway right up here.
Helsinki ground, KLM 728 Heavy, request taxi to the gate. KLM 728 Heavy, taxi to general aviation parking via taxiway runway 4 right Zulu Juliet Zulu Victor Kilo Alpha Victor. Taxiing to general aviation parking using taxiway runway 4 right Zulu Juliet Zulu Victor Kilo Alpha Victor KLM 728 Heavy.
Alright, get that progressive taxi on. We'll get that off the screen. Stop here. We turn our strobe off. Landing lights off. Cut off the autopilot. Have to go back one more. Put that off. Alright, we'll taxi to the gates. Alright, we've pulled into our spot. Alright, we've set the parking brake. They put us in a really weird area over here. Terminal's way over there. Let's see if you can see it over. But for some reason, they parked us here. Alright. I should have turned the APU on after we landed, but I didn't, but it's alright. APU, well, should have started it. The APU comes on, we'll get the generators going. Alright, the engine bleeds. I'm going to turn those off. Engine hydraulic pumps now go all off. Fuel control. So I'll go off. Alright, seatbelts off. No smoking off. I'm up here. Alright, we got the APU generators available. I'm gonna turn the beacon off. And that's at the point now where the aircraft is ready for the turnaround, but we're gonna go cold and dark. So now, APU bleed goes off, and the APU goes off. Well, actually, since we have no ground power, I'll leave it on. Yaw dampers are off. Hydraulic demand switches off. Continuous ignition off. Auto start was already off. IRSs are now all go to off. Utility left and right off. All of our fuel pumps come off. Alright, the cross feeds stay on. Window heat is off. Engine and wing anti-ice is all off. Trim air is off. Gasper off. Upper and lower recirculation fans are off. Packs 1 and 3 all off. Isolation switches left and right are off. Generator control switches are all off. Alright, need to get down to the TCAS. That, put this in standby. Okay, so now we'll go ahead and turn this APU off. Alright, turn all these lights off. Bus tie switches. That's what I hit the first time. I was doing generator, should have been. So generator switches are now all off, and the bus tie switches are all off. got those mixed up. Standby power off and battery off. Get that thing closed. Alright, so here in Helsinki, hope you all enjoyed that, and I'll catch everybody on another flight.